Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Deontay Wilder is leaning more and more towards Dominic Breazeale, and he also doesn't give Dominic Breazeale credit. This is a direct statement from Deontay Wilder. When asked about Dominic Breazeale, he said, "I really don't think nothing of Dominic Breazeale. I don't even rate him. He's an average fighter at best. I give him 1 to 3 rounds with me, but he doesn't last long." He also states, "I don't see me fighting Dominic Breazeale next, but if I had to, there's a difference between my skills and his that is like the difference between day and night." Now, he also stated in the last quote, "Dominic would be very easy work for me. I see that as a 1 to 3 round fight. That fight could be a first round knockout, but definitely 3 rounds or less because he's too slow. And when I land a punch against him, he's going down. No question about it. Trust me on that." Now, that's an interesting statement for a multitude of reasons. One, Dominic Breazeale is about 6'6", so he's going to be a very tall, lengthy, rangy opponent. The next statement is Deontay Wilder typically doesn't finish anyone between 1 and 3 rounds. I mean, look at his last 5 to 7 fights. I mean, the one guy that he got out in 1 round was Breazeale, and Breazeale was a tomato can who came there for a paycheck and laid down. Didn't even look like he threw a punch to me. Breazeale in his first fight with Deontay Wilder, that shit went 12 rounds. 12 rounds. But if you're saying that Dominic Breazeale isn't better than Gerald Washington, I guess you could say that because Gerald Washington went 5 rounds. Chris Arreola went 8. Arthur Spilka went 9. Eric Molina went 9. So these guys that are just as good or worse than Dominic Breazeale were going more than 1 to 3 rounds with you. I also find it funny that that Deontay Wilder states that he doesn't rate Dominic Breazeale. You know, he's a basic fighter, all this. And you know, the funny thing is, he doesn't have any skills. Deontay Wilder has no pure boxing ability. He just is a one-trick pony with a big right hand. And that's what he's going to try to land within the 1 to 3 rounds. But if Dominic Breazeale, and you know, styles make fights, and I don't think people understand it. And I don't think Deontay Wilder has a very high boxing IQ, because when you see in the ring that the fact that he's not able to make adjustments, and that he thinks that Dominic Breazeale would come in to fight him the same way that Dominic Breazeale came in to fight his most recent opponent, would make no sense because the threats aren't the same. Dominic Breazeale was never in legitimate chance of being knocked out or stopped against his most recent opponent, so why would he fight that same opponent the same way he would fight Deontay Wilder, who he knows has the biggest right hand in boxing today? Why would he approach that fight the same way? I'm not saying that Deontay Wilder wouldn't stop Dominic Breazeale. It's highly possible and likely. But to act like it'll be a first round knockout, to act like it'll be within 1 to 3 rounds, when your history and your resume consistently shows that you need at least 5 rounds on average to figure someone out, because we know Deontay Wilder. He needs time to figure things out for things to open up. And if you can be a little bit more tricky on the night or have a good game plan and stick to it, you can drag that fight out even longer. A lot of fighters who I don't think, like even Eric Molina went 9 rounds with Wilder, I think, you know, Dominic Breazeale is better than him. And Dominic Breazeale has already beat a Molina. So if you look at it like that, I put Dominic Breazeale on that level, is that he'll be able to take Deontay Wilder a little bit longer than what he expects. And I think that if Dominic Breazeale comes in, he could be a legitimate threat to Deontay Wilder if he hit him with some good shots. A lot of people don't realize Dominic Breazeale has some pop in those shots. So if Dominic Breazeale comes in smart, not crazy, and tries to take Wilder out within the first 3 rounds, I think that'll be his best bet to winning the fight. Because at this point, you have to come in aggressively against Wilder, and you have to hit it with something big and early to make him respect you. Wilder's always tentative the first 2 rounds. So for me to think that he's going to come in with a huge guy like Breazeale who has a grudge and a vendetta, I don't think that he's going to come in and stop Breazeale in the first 3 rounds. I just don't see that happening at all. I don't even think Wilder's skilled enough to be able to figure him out that easily. And I think Breazeale's going to give him different looks, make it a little more difficult for him. And I think that Breazeale has a chance of winning that fight, because no matter who Deontay Wilder fights, they all have a chance of winning, because Deontay Wilder is a one-trick pony. Let's be honest and unbiased. And, you know, Deontay Wilder tries to act like, you know, he doesn't see himself fighting Breazeale next. But if he had to, why would you have to fight Dominic Breazeale next? Why would you have to? The WBC has okayed you to fight Fury in a rematch. And if Fury takes a tune-up, then wouldn't it be common sense, if you weren't going to take Fury, that you would take the Anthony Joshua undisputed fight? Who wouldn't want undisputed? The WBC would not stand in the way of an undisputed fight. I believe they've already stated this in the past. So at the end of the day, if they're not going to stand in the way of an undisputed fight, they're not going to call a mandatory to prevent that from happening. I think Deontay Wilder's looking for a tune-up to avoid Anthony Joshua if Fury takes a tune-up fight. Like Fury's camp has already come out and stated that, hey, they're looking for, they're possibly open to fighting the winner of Wilder versus Joshua, but it looks like at this point Wilder's openly ducking Joshua, not really taking the offer serious. And so many reports are coming out where people are saying that these guys deserve 50-50 is ludicrous, effectively pricing themselves out of the fight. So let's be honest and unbiased about it. Deontay, the bronze bomber Wilder, needs to step up, and if he fights Dominic Breazeale, the backlash should be there. The fans should demand him to fight somebody more respectable. He's been openly avoiding Dillian White. I don't care what anybody says. He's openly avoided Dillian White, and he's also done an interview. Dillian White did an interview with Ak and Barack on DAZN. You can go check that out, and he's basically showed them messages of Deontay Wilder saying, I can avoid you for the next 2 years with the WBC. That, if that's not pure and plain ducking to me, then I don't know what is. If you say Dillian White is so bad and so poor, why wouldn't you go fight him, get a huge payday? Dillian White just sold out the O2 Arena with Derek Chisora with 19,000 people. Deontay Wilder was struggling to sell 10,000 tickets with Tyson Fury in LA. So let's be honest and unbiased. You would have had a huge payday in an easy fight, according to you, against a Dillian White. Why wouldn't you take that? Now you have an opportunity at undisputed with Anthony Joshua. Why are you not taking advantage of these opportunities? I know why, because you're confident and shaken. And Deontay Wilder has recently also came out and made statements in regards to it's not as good as it doesn't matter if you're undefeated in the heavyweight division, and that's just to paraphrase him. And look, I'm going to be honest and unbiased. You can't expect everyone to be undefeated. You can't expect everyone to stay undefeated. Guys are going to take losses where you can see what they're really made of. But, according to Deontay Wilder's statement, that the fact that he isn't worried about maintaining an undefeated record, I can understand that. But at the same time, the reason why he's having these doubts is because Tyson Fury has exposed him to the world. See, a lot of the fanboys were still lost, and a lot of the casual fans thought that Wilder would win. They thought he was better and technically sound, which he is not. Wilder is a huge, flawed fighter who's been protected for the majority of his career and has just now started to face top-level competition. And this was not even a Fury at 100%. So this will be interesting to see who Deontay Wilder takes next. I believe it's going to be Dominic Breazeale. I think Tyson Fury is going to take a tune-up. I don't think Tyson Fury wants an immediate rematch. I think he wants the winner of Joshua Wilder, and I think Wilder will do everything in his power to duck him. I think Wilder's going to pretend to negotiate with Anthony Joshua until a mandatory is called or until something else happens to where Joshua has to take a fight, and then there's going to be this fake bias narrative being put out that Anthony Joshua is not trying to make the Wilder fight. But once again, unbiased as always, it's the Ibfp. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.